What's going on, everybody? I'm David with Southern Style DIY, and today I'm going to show you how I made these two kitchen gifts from one piece of hardwood. Check it out. To start the milling process off, I'm going to rough cut this board to the 3 lengths that I think I need for both projects. And that's going to make the milling process a little bit easier because both sides of this board are rough sawed, so I can't have anything run against the table saw quite yet. I don't have a jointer to get this edge perfectly square to these faces. What I do have is this table saw sled. This edge runs right up against the table saw blade, so all I really have to do is clamp this board with a little bit of an overhang on this side, and when I run that through, it'll give me a square edge that I can reference on my table saw fence. Before starting the glue up, I did go ahead and figure out what I wanted the grain to look like on both sides of the glue line because these are from the same board but different areas. I also went ahead and grabbed some other pieces of wood and put packing tape along them, and I'm going to use those to sandwich these edges together and keep the pieces as flat as possible during the glue up. So let's go ahead and get to it. The glue went really well. We just need to remove the glue squeeze out with a chisel, and then we can move over to the table saw to clean up one edge and then cut the other one to final length. That will set us up nicely so that we can figure out all the different spots we need to fill with epoxy. I'm about to mix up some epoxy to fill a knot and crack in this board, but before I do, this knot actually goes all the way through to a little bit of the other side of the board. So I need to make sure that I tape this up so that I don't have epoxy spilling out all over my workbench. That's tape overkill. While I'm waiting on the epoxy to dry for the charcuterie board, I'm gonna move on to the wine holder. I've already got one edge jointed, so we can go ahead and go back over to the table saw and finish milling this to rough size before moving on to the holes and then cutting out the shape with the jigsaw. Before moving on to finishing, I wanted to go ahead and drill the holes that will mount the handle with screws. And I did a test piece first. I'm really glad I did because I needed to add a countersink because the screws are a little bit too short for the thickness of the wood. Now the other thing that I found when doing this test piece is it's actually better to drill from the bottom to the top in order to minimize tear out, but I need the locations of these screws. So what I'm gonna do is actually drill a small hole from the top to the bottom, countersink from the bottom, and then with the big bit, drill from the bottom to the top. We've got the shape roughed out from the jigsaw, and I made sure to stay just outside the line so I could refine it with the sander. Now I don't have a disc sander to be able to do this very quickly, so I threw together a little setup with my belt sander clamped to my workbench. I put some scraps over here to keep everything square, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. This is probably about as square as I could make a jig like this without putting a lot of time and effort into it. So let's go ahead and refine the shape. Here they are. I'm super happy with how these turned out. This is actually the first serving tray I've ever made and only the second wine holder. And the grain looks absolutely amazing once I applied some finish to it. I would love to know what you think about these, so leave me a comment down below. And if you want to stay up to date with what I've got going on in my shop every day, go check me out over on Instagram. Until next time, everyone, take care.